Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi with something special. This is a collaborative video with Ultimate Shield 340. You can see the video on his channel from his perspective. We ended up getting Lightspeed, the Destiny 2 new DLC, and we're cross-playing. He is on a PlayStation 5, I believe, and I'm on a PC. So first off, this is wonderful that you can play with other people on different content or on different platforms. He's a Guardian class, I'm a Warlock class. I'll let you hear him do his perspective. I'm going to do my perspective. First off, it's super nice to be in a group with someone that I consider, you know, at least an acquaintance, if not more acquaintance, a friend, because we've commented on each other's videos and have been inspired, each of us, by the video. So it's very familiar to play with him. I've seen his gameplay style in the Division 2. I admire his videos. So what you're seeing now, this is the third time's the charm. We're talking on Discord on this, but it's not saving the chat. I don't think we're chatting in the game. Maybe if we would have chatted in game. Working out those technical things is always something different. And we're also recording on 2 different platforms. So this is kind of a marvel that this is even happening. So this is the last final boss of like the first introductory phase. You're on the bad guy's ship and now you're trying to escape. You've done all kinds of stuff and we're trying to get out of here. We're trying to get to escape pods. And we've maneuvered all the way through everything, and now we're kind of here. We've shut down a bunch of mini missions. I, of course, like this sword build. It's very satisfying to me. But what I realize when we go into the end boss, it's not so satisfying because this isn't a boss, kind of as I feared. My build isn't such that it's going to hold up in melee kind of thing, because I'm not that kind of class. I'm probably doing like a hybrid kind of thing. One of the interesting things, there are different key types to go to different doors. Once you pick up the key type, you can go through any door with that thing. So this is the first wave of getting into the final boss. Now we've wiped a couple times here. I knew it said no respawning, but for some reason that just didn't register with me. And I think I might have ruined using my ultimate. I just realized what a bad player I am when I'm doing this. So it's been a lot of fun at this point. So we're commenting back and forth to each other about, you know, things we like and are different about the Division 2. And I don't think it's really that important. This is a fun game to play. It can go alongside it. Everything's not a zero sum, whereas, you know, for this to be good, Division 2 has to be bad. They're both good games if you like playing them. So this is their new DLC. That's the boss. Now, if he gets close to you, he disables all your powers, and if he grabs you, he messes you up. So we've learned this over a couple of battles. He has some range stuff. I waste my ultimate into his shield, which is incompetence, right? But I don't think you expect less than incompetence from me at times. So I've tried to go up on that second platform a couple times, and ultimately does. And what's kind of nice, he ends up taking a lot of the aggro from me, which is good. So here I'm doing my melee stuff, which is okay, but you can see I keep going down in health. I do have a skill. He goes down there, I get out of the way, I compose myself. I have a skill, which it's not up, but I have a healing skill I can put out on the floor, but I get him up or he gets up as we're kiting the boss around the pillars in here. There's environmental things you can explode that will give him damage. I can see those things, and then I go down. So this is like a heroic in the Division 2, as if we wiped and we got to do this part all over. The good thing is we don't have to do the whole thing over if we wipe before, but we didn't really wipe before. This is the only time. And you kind of see it, the penalty's not so bad. I'm going to respawn in 8 or 9 seconds. So all he has to do is not die. And I think this is where he's going to die. And we realize, oh, crap. So this is the first time we're wiping. You might get to see all these wipes. So I tried to scrub this out of here. But I apparently went over these parts. So the video's a little long. We're going to go into it again. I'm using a bow. And one of the things that they said about light speed, when I first started playing Destiny 2, again, they had given a roadmap for how the game was going to be. They said the game was too easy and they were going to make it a little bit harder. I didn't know what that meant, but I can tell you what that means specifically. 2 days ago, when I was using a bow, I one-shot everything. Of course, you have a problem because it only has one arrow in the quiver, so you're only firing one at a time, but it was like a great one-shot sniper build kind of thing. I can't one-shot things now, and so that's good. So I understand what they mean. I don't know if that's the case because we're in a twosome, and then that changes the scaling of the mission, or I don't know if this is part of that we're going to make it harder. I'm not against them making it harder. I can see exactly what they said with the play a week ago or 2 days ago compared to now. I can see exactly what the difference. At this point, Ultimate's calling out that they're going to be spawning down there. He has a nice build. He's using a pistol, and he's using it to great effect. So between us, he does one shot, I do one shot on like the lieutenant size people, and we put him down. So it's a good kind of situation we have. Some of the minions I can put down, but in that kind of flaming thing, if you hit that, it'll explode. You can use that again as environmental damage. So at this point, I go down because he said he's been down there. And the very first time we did it there, I'm getting the key. The very first time we did it, I fell down, and it was a nightmare. Then he came down, and we ended up, I don't think we wiped here, but we ended up wiping in this next part. So I think we're good to go. And this is going to be our second attempt at the boss. I play way more reckless in Destiny 2 than I do in the Division. Destiny 2 is not a cover-based fighter. You can use the environment as a, breaking line of sight. And so what you're going to see here is I'm staying way back out. I'm strafing. That's the strategy when you move laterally left and right. Instead of moving forward, back and forth, you move directly left and right, and you go in and out of cover to kind of give yourself that opportunity to break that line of sight. And you can see Ultimate is up forward, and I get locked out of the boss fight. So in a game like World of Warcraft back in the day, you'd be locked out of the boss fight, and like, that's a MF. But it pulls me in there, then it spawns the boss. I try to get up there. I can't get up there because, again, I'm not a good puzzle hopping kind of person. So I think this spawns a boss, and it might spawn some ads. So I have, at this point, switched to the pistol. And I think I still have the bow and arrow. I had an exotic. The bow I'm using is exotic. You can only equip one exotic at a time. I had like a submachine gun exotic and this bow. Since I'm a bow guy, that's my dog Roxy, I tried to do this exotic bow guy. So what you're going to see is, and I don't realize this is again my horrible gameplay. At a certain point, if we kill all the ads, and I've already seen him grab Ultimate and kill him. So, like, I'm running like the Dickens when that guy starts running towards me. But you'll notice when I hit him, I'm not doing any damage. So, like, to tell you the difference if you know you're a good game player or not, I didn't realize there was... Look, I missed with my Ultimate skill. That's embarrassing. I don't realize that there's a mechanic. I'm not smart enough to realize that I'm shooting him when it's immune and when I'm doing damage. So normally I'm doing like 59 damage, but if I shoot him in certain spots, I'm doing more damage. Ultimate lets me know, yeah, if you hit him in that bright glowing spot on his chest, you'll do more damage. Now at this point I'm just running because I think he's near me. This is horrible gameplay on my part. And no excuse other than I'm not that good. And you see at this point, I've talked to you about in the Division 2 about aggro, and for sure Ultimate has all the aggro because the boss is on him like crazy. The boss doesn't even want me. So at this point in a good team, I would try to put some heat on the boss so that he gets off. You know, we trade aggro back and forth, and then I run. And one of the ways you burn down a boss is by letting the aggro go back and forth in between people. I have a heal, so I have that heal up. When I stand in it, I heal. So I'm going to try to get back to it, and you see it brings me up. So that's kind of a benefit I have. I could do more damage in that as well, but again, that goes back to my conservative nature. So we're getting them down, and this is another classic Ronin problem. The boss is close. I don't know how close, and we wipe. I don't know how close, but I just go balls out at the end. Hey, knock it off. I just go balls out at the end, and look, we wipe. Right, so that's a dumb teammate. So one of the things you're going to say, well, Ronin, you don't do that in Division 2 Legendary, and this is what I'm going to say to everyone. This thing right there, so I change my skills back to normal. So I'm going to put on, hopefully I'll put on my Legendary. Oh, now I'm going to take off my sword because I can't. I'm going to stop myself from doing melee, and I switch my sword, my bow back to a Legendary, a normal one, and my exotic back to my second gun piece. When you're new in a game, you don't know how far you can push it. And so that's an example right there. So if you ever watch my videos and you see other people pushing it and I'm like, oh, they shouldn't have pushed it. How do they know? Right? So I'm giving you an example. I fall prey to the same thing. I think if there's one thing I'm consistent, I'll call out activity, but then I'm going to call out when I do the exact same activity I'm calling out. Sometimes when you're new in a game, you just don't know what the limits are. So if you're a senior person, hopefully I just try to help carry people through that part. And if not, you know, I got to understand that, you know, some people are new to the game. One of the things about Ultimate and I playing this together, we're both new to this content. So we're both feeling this out. When you look at the summary after we wipe, it's like I have a lot more deaths because I'm playing a lot more aggressive. Because I get that stupid sword in my hand and I'm like, ah. So at this point, excuse me, in my build, I like using the bow and I like using the sword. And I think I have a Legendary submachine gun that I also like to use. So I'm kind of more okay with what my build is. The other thing, oh my gosh, my throat, sorry. The other thing in Lightspeed is they have build sets now. So like you can have build and then you can just quickly pop in and out of different builds. And so the first time I'm giving a crap about what the different attributes can be like. You have one called mobility. And for warlocks, there's a thing called resource or recharge or something. And that's what helps get your skills back faster. But I like the mobility. It does like an extra thing for hunters. It doesn't do an extra thing for warlocks. So I went into some of the like chat boards, if that's still what it's called. And, you know, there's some people that play that. It's not your main attribute, but in this game, it's a little more fluid that I would like to be able to strafe faster and move faster. So if I ever figure out how to get my player up and all that kind of stuff, I will. So we're back taking out this first wave. Once you get the key, and there's me failing again. So in the Division, when you hit the F key, that helps you interact with objects. In Destiny 2, the F key does your ultimate. So when I'm trying to pick stuff up, I just normally am doing my ultimate into like some treasure chest or something. Okay, so we're doing the boss. I'm understanding the mechanic a little more. And I think when I played games, let's say 10 years ago, if I was something in WoW, I'd be so in the moment of my character that I couldn't see all this stuff. And of course, playing something like Division 2 that I played a bunch. So here I put down my heal, and then I'm gonna res ultimate in the healing. Of course, when you play more, the game quote unquote slows down for you. So that's one of the things that you have to look forward to. And that's almost like anything in life. I'm not going to go Malcolm Gladwell on you and say that if you do 10,000 hours, because 10,000 hours in one of these games is 5 years of playing the game. And hopefully that games get better, that you want to play a different game after 5 years. But all those gaming skills are cumulative in the fact that, you know, when you see crap on the ground, you should realize to not step in the crap on the ground. And you should take some of the visual cues that the designers give you to figure out what's going on. Like, does my screen turn red? That means I'm taking damage, etc. Now, we had a heck of a time just starting this whole match because I had gone ahead and kind of went through the cutscenes, but Ultimate hadn't gone through the cutscenes because he just waited in the beginning. So once we figured that out, and that was my fault, I pushed ahead. Right, so I played other games, and in other games, you know, I got to a point like, you know, don't go past level 1, or let's meet in Goldshire. That's a place in World of Warcraft where you take a newly created character and you start in a group there. That's not how that needs to be here. So we got through all that. We went through the precursor stuff, and now we're kind of in the mission. And again, playing with people you know, and this is the great thing about the world today. Ultimate and I have never met in real life, but because I've watched his videos, and I can't know him just through watching his videos, but I have a feel for what his play style is. You know, we joked about kind of in our videos, he feels he's known for one thing, I feel I'm known for another thing, and we joked about that. Hey, what if I did this? What if I did that? But the fact is, right, you get to see this person that you watch their videos and how they play, and he's very consistent. He's very consistent with how he plays. So, like, I was super impressed with that. It was great playing with them. And so here's what you're thinking about. What if we're two YouTubers that are not really super successful right now, but we go to play a game and then we can't, you know, we can't get past a guy. This is really a game that neither one of us has played in years. Maybe Ultimate, not at all. He's playing on a console, I'm playing on a PC. We're communicating over Discord, which is a new and extra variable. And I was just pretty happy how we meshed pretty well together. And I didn't feel like a pug to me. And there's the boss. Now, here's the thing I like about Destiny. So at this point, I was like, okay, we pick up the loot, and now we're done. Because in the Division, you'd be done. And I was like, well, I hope. And I was like, hey, what's this? And Ultimate was like, oh, yeah, we've got to get off the ship still. So I like that part where the story's still immersive. So it doesn't just feel like, oh, now I'm going to go back to my base, undo all my loot. It's a loot shooter, but it's not like the Division. And here's a dumb thing. Okay, so you're going to see when I get near there, it's going to give me the prompt. I'm going to turn around and say, hey, do you want to jump in there? And we're both asking the same thing, like right there. Ultimate goes in and he's like, oh, nothing's happening. And I'm like, I want to go in too. But in the future of Destiny, two of us can't fit in that escape pod together. So it's a one-person escape pod. So he's like, I can't hit any buttons. And I remember a fire team is 3 people. So look how many escape pods they have. I don't even know what direction to go. Again, I'm such a noob. And eventually this slowly creeps into my head. So hopefully, and there's my escape pod, and it's open, look, and I just have to look. And so we eventually are going to escape to the planet. So now the mission's done, right? So what I'd ask you to do is, and I'm asking myself to do this, when new people are in the game, and there's been other commenters who said this to me, you don't assume that they know what they're doing. They might be new to the game. They might have a second language. So I've tried to slowly morph my gameplay or my expectations of group gameplay a little bit different to kind of take in that reality. So this is the other thing I like about Destiny. So we got some dead time. Here's the thing I will tell you. There's loading screens. And so the Division has loading screens, I guess, but it really doesn't. You can make it feel like it has loading screens, like when you fast travel, but really you can you can walk all over the map and into most of the missions. So at this point, we've been playing together maybe an hour, and so now we're on Neptune, and we're like, okay, what do we do now? And we're like both expecting it to be over, so we're looking around because we've played in the Division so much. What's nice is we could have broke it off here, but this isn't the end of the mission. It's like, who are you talking to us? If we were the invaders, we would have just come in, and you didn't see we just kicked ass up there on that ship. So, spoiler alert, we're on Neptune now. I probably didn't give you enough time, so. By the way, spoiler alert, this video is about Lightspeed. Maybe I should put that in the title. We had the option of playing on Legendary, but we're not. Even though we're Division 2 Legendary ready, I was just like, man, I can barely play this game. How could we be on Legendary? So, again, what the devs talked about this was they were going to make it a little harder. Check. I can't one-shot everything. I can one-shot minions, and look, it takes me 3 shots. That normally was I killed somebody. So I appreciate that change. And rarely, if something's a bullet sponge, are you going to say it's better. But I understand why it's better for this player base, that you've made the game a little bit harder. Again, I don't know if that's some of the scaling, but I feel it from where it was before. Number 2, I bought this expansion. So what do I got to make a new character to get a new class? Because that's what I have to do. The Division, I don't really have to do that, but I got to level up a class to start using the skills. Or in other games, like if in World of Warcraft, if you're a shaman and you want to be a druid, you got to roll a new character. Your same character can't be this different class. So you end up having a lot of alts on a game like alternative characters, alts on a game like WoW. Division 2, you don't need to have so many. There's some reasons why you want to have alts to get exotics and all that stuff, but in general. So I'm wondering that about Destiny 2. Am I going to need to make another character to try these skills? I think I didn't get the whoop-de-doo version of the game. I just got the standard version. There's a season pass. I didn't elect to get that. One of the things Ultima and I both commented as we're looking at the cutscenes, man, there's a lot of the story that we're missing from the previous chapters. Oh, by the way, there's some parts where you have to jump a little bit, and I'm a big baby when it comes to jumping puzzles. My kids are too old for me to call them down or have them come over to the house and jump my character through some puzzles. That's embarrassing, but I'll admit it. So I think at this point, we're not tired of each other, but we've had a full mission. Ultimate has personal life stuff going on. I'm on East Coast time, so it's a little bit late for me. This video is not going to come out too late, but I just had so much fun, I want to put it out. Will we play the entire game through with each other? I don't think so. I mean, because we both got other things we want to do. He has a vibrant Division channel that he's growing. He has this alternative stuff. I like doing Destiny 2. I really like this game. I really like this new game. I like the new patch. So you might have seen the title of this video as well. So hopefully you get a lot of my snarky little titles. Maybe they're dated sometimes, maybe they're not. But as you look at the game, you'll realize immediately when something happens. Again, I'm a guardian. I'm not a guardian. I'm a warlock. Ultimate's a guardian. I'm a warlock. Neither one of us are hunters. There's one other player, Sloth Mood, that I'm trying to get on here. It's on me. I wanted to get him so we could all do this. So there's this green thing, and we're like, what is this? So we seek insight. So now we're learning all this new stuff. Press a woven needle that will embed your target, grapple in the target's direction. So, oh look, we're getting new skills. So we've got the expansion here, the new skills. I guess these are the new skills for that Guardian class. So right now you got like and I apologize for my ignorance. You have a white class, you have a orangish class, a purple class, and now you have a green class. Gosh. Swordplay still happy. Don't have a lot of ammo. And now the sword is not as effective, so I switched to my exotic. I'm getting all kind of gear. I haven't checked the gear. And where are the enemies? Now, they gave you all these new... So here's kind of a nice thing. They gave you all these new skills. Strand missiles in target's direction. Blah, blah, blah. So where am I going to launch all these new skills? Oh, good. There's some people there. And that's kind of interesting what happened. I grappled on him and then I got pulled, and then there's more guys over here. So I'm liking that. The recharge is fast. That's fantastic. So pretty excited at this point. I don't know what that does. And so now I'm just face rolling because I don't know what any of the things do. I want to get up, but I'm letting go too fast, or I'm double pumping it, or, you know, whatever. So I'm starting to realize, like, if I just keep the skill going, it pulls me towards them, and we both get pulled toward each other. I don't know what that does. Ultimate's like, maybe it's a grenade, you can throw it at someone. And that was interesting, like I pulled myself over there, so that's kind of a... So I'm slowly getting it. Not quite. And this is what's good about that skill. It recharges so fast. I'm figuring out how to use it. I don't know if the whole game's always going to be like that. But I like that it recharges fast because it doesn't have to be overpowered, but it gives me another game style play. So I finally make it up. So I'm starting to understand what the skill is supposed to do. So I want to thank everyone that watches. I want to thank Ultimate Shield 340 for a great time. Please check out his channel. I will take the time to put it in the link in the description to his YouTube channel. He's a great follow. Please help him and support him by watching his videos. This is Ronan Kazi signing off.